Well, we're certainly looking forward to going to Philadelphia this week and playing a really excellent Temple team. As I watched them on film, it's going to be a heck of a challenge for us. They're 6-2, 3-1 in our league. When I look at Temple's team, though, I look back to when Coach Golden first got there and what he had to go through and how he had to build. And I look at his team currently right now, and obviously I have a lot of respect for Al and what he's done, and certainly a program we respect, and in some ways a program we're looking to emulate as we move forward here with our program at Akron. So the building process that they went through and how they're able to make themselves not just one of the best teams in our league, but certainly one of the best teams in the country. And it's obvious on film they're well coached. Obviously on film they've recruited well, and they're a tough physical football team. So it'll be a heck of an opportunity to play in a great venue like Lincoln Financial Field for our players. I know they're excited about doing that. And as I told them yesterday, I'm looking for us to continue to improve as a team, continue to improve as a program, and I'm looking for us to go out there and play our best game and see what our best game looks like. Because I'm not quite sure any of us know what our best game looks like, and we certainly haven't played it yet. And in my mind and my heart, I know we're capable of that, and so I'm looking forward to us, working towards doing that. With that being said, I'll open it up for questions.
All right, Coach, with the attendance figures being kind of what they are, can you talk about what the attendance means to the program and why students should continue to support the team? Well,
I don't really look at the attendance figures. That's something that is handled by our administration and by our athletic director and Dan Satter and his outfit. They handle the attendance figures. I handle the product that's on the field, which I certainly don't think people can be excited about how we've played at home, because we really haven't played that well at home. But I would tell the students that you're at a Division I university, and if you fail to come out and support the Division I programs and get involved in watching the football team play or the basketball team play or the soccer team play, you're missing out on a valuable experience of being at a Division I institution. And if you don't do that now, you'll be wishing in a few years you'll be coming back and having to pay for those tickets, as opposed to doing it now when it's for free.
How much, obviously there's execution issues and all those things, but how much, again, you put a percentage on it, but how much of it is just confidence because there just hasn't been?
Well, I think we would be naive enough to think that we're a team playing with a lot of confidence right now, because when you haven't won, your confidence is an issue with your team. That's I think goes without saying, and the execution and confidence sometimes overlap in the course of a game. So you gain confidence by doing things right in practice, and hopefully then doing things right in practice will carry over to doing things right in the game.
You answered about the big question I had about trying to follow, emulate Temple and everything. Al said you and he talk once in a while.
We do. Al has been terrific to me. Here we talk, and I've asked him questions. We were in Phoenix at our MAC meetings. We spent some time together in the corner talking quite a bit. We've talked during the season.
That's what he said.
And Al and I known each other since we both were assistants. When he was at Virginia, the whole Virginia staff came and visited us at Wisconsin for a couple of days when he was on that staff with Coach Groh, and got to know Al well at that time, and we've stayed friends since then.
What do you think has been a couple of the big things he's told you that you can use? I know you can't use everything.
Well,
is there anything?
I know what I want it to look like. I know what it's supposed to look like. I know what we want it to look like in our program. So make sure that we're staying true to our principles of what we want it to be. And that's what we're going to do. And that's what we have done, and that's what we're going to continue to do. I have a vision for what this program is going to be and what this program is going to look like. And we have made significant improvements in our program, but to those are behind closed doors, and they're not to the eye of the public. And to the eye of the public, the ultimate improvement is the scoreboard, and we're a work in progress in achieving that desired result on the scoreboard. We'll be there, we'll get there, but we have to continue to work at it.
Temple, obviously a power running team, but then what is this Girardi they've used the last couple of games? What does he bring to the table?
I tell you, he's a very accurate. One example of what he's brought to the table is they had not been very good in third down efficiency on offense, and last week they were 7 of 11 with him as the starter. Which, so he has, I don't know if it's a calmness to the offense, but he's done a really nice job managing what they've asked him to do, hitting receivers, being accurate with his passes. So I've been very impressed with how he's played.
Injuries or anything? Anybody not playing? Anthony? Anthony might be.
I would obviously Rogers is out, and LaFrance is out. Ladridge is still out, and Anthony Holmes is questionable.
How many healthy offensive linemen do you have?
5 that are starting, and then of the guys that are playing in the game, we play usually 7, in the game, and we're still, those guys are all healthy.
Is there anybody? And do you have anybody else?
Well, we do have several other.
Guys.
Jared Pugsley would be a guy that travels and plays on our punt team, and so he's another candidate to play an offensive line. And we're redshirting Michael Leo. He has traveled, but we're redshirting him. And Joe Pachuta is another young man who practices with us that is eligible to go into a game if need be. And Paul Simkovich is still out with some, but if he was to come back, he would be another young man that could potentially, play.
What positions do you have that you have trouble practicing with? You don't have enough.
Well, the way we practice is unique because we don't do scout teams. Okay, we don't have enough players to do scout teams, particularly linemen to do scout teams. So we service each other similar to what an NFL team does. And so the second defense, per se, will be Temple's defense and going against our first offense. And then when we flip, it's the second offense, which, because you don't have a lot of linemen, you're still giving some other linemen work in there. You give Michael Leo work, and you give Pugsley work, which Vice is also getting some snaps, and at times some of those other linemen are getting snaps as you go through there. And we use some of those receivers that sometimes play in the game. And that's where, and now we probably won't use Dylan Potts as much in some other roles because he is, our second-team quarterback. So there's been some challenges with practice because of that. You don't spend as much time on the opponent as you traditionally would with scout teams. So we do work against each other for a segment, and then we service each other for several segments of a practice.
Did you burn his red shirt because you figured he was also going to be out this week? Or?
Yes, when it became apparent that Matt Rogers would be out this week, and quite frankly, he's questionable for next week. Okay, he's out this week and he's questionable next week. When that became apparent to us, because we had toyed with Dylan playing on special teams all year, and I was reluctant to do that. Now, if Matt was to come back, Dylan could actually then see some more time on special teams. So we will find ways for Dylan if Matt was to be back.
Was there any thought of not even using him at all? Let Patrick stay in the game Saturday?
I did, but then as you look at the long term here of Matt being out, okay, what I didn't want to do was all of a sudden it gets down to the last game of the year or something and Matt's out. Now I've burned his red shirt in the last game of the year because of injury. So if we're going to use him, I decided we should use him and get him some game experience.
Doug Richardson, is he okay?
He is questionable for this game. Very questionable.
All the talk, well, you don't get to see NFL, but all the talk of that helmet-to-helmet thing, and then when something, what kind of goes through your mind at that point? Well,
it's scary when one of your players is laying down there, but in my mind, I knew Doug's history with stingers. I didn't feel like it was as much of a helmet as I've seen sometimes, but it was a heck of a collision. Mm-hmm. So when I went down on the field and I saw him grabbing his shoulder and moving, then I felt better about that, much better. About his long term, I knew it wasn't something that at that instant, was going to be something really bad. I knew it was a stinger, but probably a significant stinger, which it is. And so he's being treated. He's with our medical team, but he is certainly questionable for this week.